Have we clapped or have we not clapped?
No, we haven't. Ready? Cheers, buddy.
Oh,
Before we
cheers.
go.
Cheers, mate.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. You're such a dick. So today, this is a very serious podcast.
Oh.
We start now. Who are we making this podcast for?
Oh, what a great question.
Yeah.
For us.
Yes, 100% for us. Genuinely, if no one listens, though, we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. No?
How many are we committed to doing?
8. No. Too much. 12.
It is a lot. You think 8? I feel like realistically, you go back to work. I go back to work. It's a new year.
Yeah.
Shit gets crazy about end of Jan.
Yeah.
We still going to be doing this on a Wednesday night and a whatever midweek.
If it has a net positive where you feel like you've actually gotten out of your home space, kid space, workspace, cell space, this is actually like the one outlet I have.
Yeah.
If it's doing that, then I'll keep doing it. It's better than anything else.
How much work does this have? How much prep are we going to have?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like it's going to ratchet up with the more value you get out of it, the more prep you want to put into it.
Yeah.
My risk is that if I overcook it, it's like piano lessons when you're out. If you just do piano lessons to do scales, you're out. Yeah. Whereas if you actually learn Metallica on the guitar first, by the way, you're going to become a virtuoso because you just get doing what you want to do. Yeah. So I feel like you need to calibrate the prep to do with the...
Do we... Yeah. So there's a level of respect we have to do for our guests. So the question is, how many... Well, if there's a guest, if there's someone here, you need to know what
the guest. I was going to say, because my wife and your wife are going to have to listen to whether we take care of it.
No, what I mean, when we get someone on, we're going to have to know... We're going to have some questions about that thing. They have to be a bit informed.
Here's my question. My thought is we let them do all the work. So we say to them, we've got this podcast, we've got a format for you, we've got a whole setup for you. It's your platform. What do you want to do? It's value for them.
And we're just passive aggressive. They just come in and we're just fucking rude.
It's actually a roast. It's actually a roast. This is where your career ends.
We call it like BS. You're just like, nah.
That's a format.
It's never going to take off, is it?
That's a format. Apparently in Australia, they've just released, what was my cousin telling me, that there's a restaurant, a theme restaurant where you go in Sydney and they just abuse you.
Oh, I've seen it.
That's genius.
Yeah, I think it started here.
Yeah, it's called McDonald's.
Yeah.
They just throw the big back at you. Those fries are abuse enough.
Yeah, no, I think, I've seen that. Okay, let's talk about more.
Serious questions.
I do have more, just like about being realistic. I feel like you're right about this needs to be fun. I feel like there's a rabbit hole here on the production value. This is probably going to be the best production value one, and it will never air, likely. But I feel like we want to keep it as easy as possible as well. If you have to drive up here to get one done, it's not going to happen. And if you have to set up, if we have to do a lot of, it's going to not happen. If it can be like, shit, I've got it, dinner's finished, bath, in 10 minutes I need to be down there doing a podcast. It's better chance, isn't it? If it's an hour a week or 90 minutes a week.
100%.
So
100%. I think let's have it maximum value. It's like 51% for a pass mark. I think that's what we're after to get going.
Yeah.
And then once you see the value come out of it, MVP style, we can get going.
Do you do any guests in the first 8?
I think...
Or how many did we say? 4 or 8?
Let's commit to 4, aspirational 8. I think we try to do at least 2 of those get guests in, even for a portion, because you get the guests, you edit out 50% as guests, 50% as other chat we have to cover, fan mail, topical, shoot the shit,
death threats.
What was it, for example?
Yeah.
Best product of the week, worst meeting of the week, that sort of caper. So you get the guests anyway.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we get out of it.
And what's the format? So I was thinking...
Here we go.
15 minutes chat. Half an hour, someone in. 20 minutes, half an hour, someone in.
Yep.
Interview.
Yep.
The 15 minutes chat at the start, there's the chat. Then there's the foundation for why we should care about the thing we're going to talk about. So like, if we're going to talk about the metaverse, the first 15 minutes is what is the metaverse? What's happened recently with Meta and things like that. Then we get Zuck in. He does his 20 minutes, half an hour pitch on why the metaverse is a thing. And then at the end of it, when they're gone, like we have bants with them. And then at the end of it, what about doing here? So we might not be qualified to do this, but 15 minutes background we can do.
Qualified.
30 minutes bants with someone who knows what they're talking about we can do.
Qualified.
15 minutes at the end about where does this go?
Ooh. Overqualified.
Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The less you know, the more you know. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The more you can talk about it.
Great.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. All in.
So you're anchored on technology trend topic thing per episode?
No.
Like you can go back to Meta as an example. I know you don't want to talk about Meta.
That's the only one that I've thought about
Yeah.
when I was like, when I asked you, can we do a podcast? We were talking about metaverse, and that's why I'm stuck on that.
Like I'm wondering how much. Two thoughts. One is like, where do we source the topics? Because how topical it has to be, or otherwise, because that's kind of finite to a degree.
Yeah.
Like there's a format that just keeps self-sustaining because we're able to mine it infinitely.
Yeah.
News is invariably one of those, as I said. Is it the challenge with that is
we're not doing news.
Saturated, it's topical,
we're not doing,
it's too trendy.
I think there's a middle ground. So I think, like, going back to the metaverse, I don't think we want to be reporting on what's happened in the metaverse this week.
Right.
But I think what I want to do is I want to bring, I'm kind of picturing some of my mates in Dublin listening to it and being like, they're all professionals, very qualified in their own fields, and they hear about the metaverse and they don't really know how to feel about it because there's a lot of fundamentals they're missing. And so, like, I think we want to go as evergreen as we can in terms of, like, if news topical up to date is on one end, and if, like, just, you know, we're teaching a course on Coursera
product design,
on one end, I think we want to be
closer to
the
core style.
evergreen end.
Okay. Are you thinking it's sprinkled in with, if I was a product manager, if I was on the product team on this thing, here's how I think about it, and sprinkle in some product principles, and here's an example of something that I did once. That kind of goes in there. So there's like some product experience comes in. I know we don't make it a product podcast, but we're product people. We're here. We're chatting.
Yeah, and I think I think that's where we'll riff well, because I think you're more up to date and more kind of.
I'm hip.
I feel like
look at me. I'm wearing a cardigan.
I feel like you're excitable.
It's a very hip cardigan.
You're more willing to go along with the hype.
That sounds great. That's a really good reflection.
What I would say is, we've talked about this. I'm not a boomer, but like we
didn't talk about on air, Marcus.
Well, this isn't.
Now I'm a hype merchant. No, we're on air. We're live.
Our
audience of one.
It does feel like we're live.
They're here. Our listeners.
Doesn't it feel though like?
Hello, listeners.
It's we're here. Crazy.
Yeah.
Can we curse on the podcast?
Absolutely. We can beep it out like Kunal. Kushna.
You're definitely going to alter your voice now. You're going to, from now on, the rest of the podcast, you're going to be talking like this. And I take product management very seriously.
Oh, sound Irish. Got it. Okay. Well,
you're saying I have an Irish accent now, not American. Yeah, brilliant.
Only when you talked high.
Nice. Ta-ta.
Let's talk about the who is going to listen to this thing.
You mean the first question I had is, who are we making this podcast for?
It's not your email.
You want to go to your question?
Is that your Tinder profile? Was that a notification on your Tinder profile?
Let's skip my question of who's this for and go to your question, which is who this is for. Great. That's a great product question.
It's the way
start with the customer.
It's all about the framing.
Yeah.
You have been anchored on the we are in America behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
You're back home and we're sending telegrams back home telling you what this is about.
Yeah.
I want to put to you an alternative narrative.
Okay.
We're in your home. We're here. We've burrowed underground like gophers. We're in your walls like rats.
Yeah.
The American, the Irish.
Yeah. What?
The Irish, the Australian. I don't know who is anymore.
You were American there.
We're here. What I'm saying is the homegrown audience, I reckon, is a really interesting potential because we're different to them.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying... Sorry, yeah. I did give the example of my mates at home. I think, realistically, if it's going to be successful, we need it to be an American audience.
Right.
But I think that we might get away with more not being American.
We would get away with more, personally.
Yeah.
100%. But if I kind of then go, okay, I'm American audience. Which American audience? Am I in the Bay? Am I outside the Bay? Am I young? Am I old? Am I already in product? Am I trying to get into product? If I kind of drill down into that, there's like that mental model for me is different to, it's my mate back in Oz, or it's my... Like it's someone in Asia trying to kind of come across to the US, or what it demystifies it. Yeah. Like it's a very different mental model, because then you could riff into the, by the way, in America, they always do this thing. And can you believe why do they call it we can riff on the American observationalism in the context of professional life or otherwise. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. What's with the healthcare system?
Yeah. ...
Yeah. Right. So I feel like knowing that's there, I think allows the introspection onto American audience.
I think that's right.
Also, it's a unique proposition. If it's the Oliver.
Yeah.
What's his name? Oliver, Jamie Oliver. What's his name? The guy.
Jamie Oliver.
Not Jamie Oliver. The wrong guy. I'm thinking of the other one. Oliver the one who does the 20-minute sets on stuff. The British guy who does American things on HBO. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. But not James Corden. We're not doing the James Corden of podcasts.
No. I think we...
Yeah, I know who you mean.
We're most of the way there.
What's his name?
I just remember his name.
Kushal. It's all in the edit.
Can you
But
look it up?
insert smart stuff here.
The
Great.
best thing about Kushal
Yeah.
is that he doesn't even need to exist.
He-
And yet he's a foundational partner
Oh, he
in
is.
this whole thing.
He is.
But he doesn't have to be there. He's basically represents our audience.
Yeah.
Anytime we say something, we say, Kushal, just interpret this the right way.
Yeah.
Anytime we get it right, we say, Kushal, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kushal, write us in.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want us to talk about next.
Yeah. And he's our audience who we pay.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, that's
That
a
doesn't
winning
scale.
formula.
Doesn't
Yeah.
scale. What you do is you do things that don't scale first. You pay for audience, and then you go from there.
I have more questions. Why should anyone listen to us? Do you think you've just answered that?
No. I think this is a question about the niche chat. So, a couple of philosophies. One is, like, niche is hard as fuck. What's our niche? What do we know better than anyone else? You know the industry of white shirts and rigging up stuff for way too much money. Like, that's your niche. You know that shit well, inside out. So you should tell, like, the 40-plus-year-old dudes how to do that. Like, over and over again. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just an example.
You're older than I am. You
Am
are.
I?
You are actually older.
Well, really? Oh, yeah.
You
but
know
like,
you are.
Like 2 months, 3 months. I know, but I feel younger, you know. That's what matters.
Yeah.
So, like, there's the niche philosophy,
Really
which
getting me
which
over.
I totally I
We
buy.
should probably cover these up so that sponsorship deals.
What? You are getting
I'm
it.
serious.
Hey, can you give me a frame, please? That's
You've
money.
been gesticulating wildly. There's hardly any of my face in it so far. All it is you giving it the.
Look, I'm actually turning
Oh
this light
God!
bulb on right
Nobody's going to watch. Will you please get me?
now.
A
Would you
beer?
like a beer?
Yeah, just to make the weirdness go away.
Yeah, I'm definitely sleeping here tonight.
If this podcast goes as well as you think it will, we'll see. Play your cards right.
Or if it goes much worse, it will also.
Wait. Okay. So why should
Philosophy
anyone...
on why someone should listen to us. So a couple of thoughts. One is the niche thing, like clearly something that is obvious to us,
Yeah.
but we haven't heard people talk about it. Is the classics just something that's like in front of our faces that we know that we haven't heard anyone else talk about? That's almost observational in nature. Like, why would someone talk about do YouTube for a particular thing, or
Yeah.
why would someone talk about AutoCAD, or like design
Yeah.
and product on like something that is intersection of things that others clearly have. That's a niche, etc. So there's a niche model.
Yeah.
And I think how to get to the niche is one. The other is, I think, my inclination, which is you come to feel like you're being informed, but you stay because you're being entertained.
Okay.
I.e., eventually it's just about relationship. It's us. It's
Yeah.
hearing our dulcet tones in your ear.
That sounded really good when
You know
you
what
did
I mean?
that.
You know what I'm saying? You just
I don't
hear
think I
us.
can do that with my voice though,
just drop
even
it
with this
down.
expensive microphone.
Dive.
Here we go. It's about my dulcet tones in your ear.
I think that's one too many packets, mate. One too many packets.
Irish people can be sexy.
You know what it's about? It's about the eyebrows changing the pitch of your voice. It's what's doing it for me.
Okay, I'll just talk
Irish,
like that for the
Irish
rest of
accent,
this.
the Belfast female Belfast accent, sexiest accent on the planet.
I don't even think you'd be able to tell. If I played 3 Irish, that can be a whole podcast. You guessing what part of Ireland accents are from.
Episode 1, easy,
Episode 1 done.
easy.
And it's in line with our target and our what the value prop is.
Look, what's important is to be flexible. When we set up goals, it's just to work around them. My challenge is that if I look at all the so did you see the article I sent yesterday, the
Yeah.
breakdown of the types of podcasts?
Yeah.
The vast majority of podcast world is narrative and like it's
Yeah.
NPR turned into podcast.
Research,
it's Vox,
storytelling.
and hardcore, like all the radio, like
Yeah.
wonks
Yeah.
turned into podcast people, right?
And if you look at tech and product podcasts, they're all news.
Right. So they're either all news or they're your Reid Hoffman Masters of Scale, like heavy hitting network. So
Right.
you're like your influencer. He's already got something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you get into this thing where like we're not big names, where we can increasingly build a network and like, so maybe it's about trajectory. It's like what we do, why now and why later, and kind of map it out a bit that way. But I guess part of my thought around the personality bit, the hack here, is that we don't have the brand, so personality hacks us around the brand. We
Yeah.
don't have the network.
Yeah.
We build that. We bring it in. Like,
Yeah.
I think entertainment is the shortcut to everything else. Because you don't want to do news for a bunch of reasons, but if you did go slightly more evergreen, it needs to be entertaining evergreen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That's one.
I mean, it can't be evergreen. I get that. I'm not saying, but I'm saying,
nothing's evergreen.
yeah, it needs to be relevant in an industry that changes weekly. But you know,
My other, the other completely, like if there's a spectrum of like it's a mix of lifestyle podcast with tech and working, and is like the turning 40 end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So if there's a few different dimensions,
Yeah.
product is one, tech is one, news, etc., then
Yeah.
our lives, who we are, what we're doing.
Yeah.
The rigger upper of 40, I did my back out lols. Right? What the
Two old lads with bad backs.
For example.
People love listening to that.
For the kids out there,
I feel
it's
like
going to happen to
focus
you
on
as
that.
well.
That's the first 4 episodes.
So what you could do is like life advice, like piss take life advice for kids coming into tech.
I think there's so much room for that. I also think there's room for...
That was good yes ending, by the way. Especially if you say something completely irrelevant, right?
One wheels are great. No, I also think that there's a bunch of how to get into product management content in the world.
Yeah.
How to be an APM, how to crack the interview, there's little to no early to mid PM career stuff. Where can you go? What are your options? How do you get into management? What's it feel like to get into management? What's it feel like to be removed from product? I've been removed from product for a long time in my product role, and it's very different from the job I took 7 years ago. So 6.5 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's because I know myself when I was looking for
the middle management trap. The middle management.
What do I do
thing.
next? There's you and I've had the chats.
Yeah.
The chats we've had, which is like it feels wrong to be talking to someone else managing me now. Like you get to that stage in your career and you're like, what are the options? And
it's true. So the mid manager. Question is whether there's enough of an audience for that crew.
People in tech who are in the middle. Like I feel like
I've got time.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, because we don't listen to any of these podcasts.
That's the problem. So the question here is how deliberate we want to be here. Like if we want to be like analytical about it, or we want to go do it for us. If we enjoy it, there's a bunch of people like us.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my mental model is that it's either we're going to do like a full-blown chart and diagram and where the audience is and create content for them, or just create content for us and they'll come.
Yeah. And
like there's a real levity and breezeness to that because it's just supernatural. It may not have the TAM, but it's much more attainable.
Yeah.
And so hence why like there must be something there we're just staring at. Like however obvious it is, like it's a Seinfeld show about nothing type thing.
Yeah.
It's right there. Can we do the non-Americans in America doing work in
Shout
tech?
out the first 4 episodes there. Just tell me what they are.
Moving to America. Coming to America. Just not Eddie Murphy, just an Irish Eddie Murphy.
You think so? You
You
think having like the cultural difference, like the honestly, I didn't feel the weird thing is I felt more culture shock.
Yeah.
I felt more culture shock moving to the UK than I did moving to the US.
Is that right?
Yeah,
from Ireland.
Yeah,
is that
maybe because it was the first time I lived in a different country full time?
Right.
I spent 6 months in Oz or 4 months in Oz, but Aussies are more similar to Irish. The irony that the Brits are so much different to the Irish that when I moved 400 miles from Limerick to London, that I had massive culture shock, thinking that it was going to be similar, and it was not at all. And then moving to California was much less impact.
Seamless,
right? I wouldn't say seamless. I would say maybe I was just more ready for it. Like
different stage of your life. I can imagine the cultures being closer in like New World stuff. In being more out there and being a bit more larrikin and a bit more easygoing. There is definitely like a whole different strand to the British thing that I'm still discovering as an aside.
Rami is married to a Brit.
Kushal, please edit that bit. No. So that has to come up, right? Our private life has to come up.
Yeah. I think that's okay. I don't think we would I wouldn't mention my kids' names.
No.
Or their ages maybe. Or kids. That they're young kids. That
you have kids.
Yeah, a couple of them.
My youngest or my oldest.
I don't keep track of how many. Yeah, there's a few
with this wife.
I have a litter with this wife.
The alimony payments. I don't even know what alimony is. I feel like it's an American.
It's an American thing. You don't need to know. It's great. The nice thing is we can always go home if anything goes wrong. That's the beauty of it.
Just bail.
Just get
just the eject button.
Yeah.
Is it like a trapdoor?
You can paint this anywhere. We could do this from anywhere.
Oh, you're thinking like a
how do they even know we're in America?
Oh,
Anyway,
are we?
I've got some more deep questions. Did we answer that one? You gave me one answer.
What was that one?
Our unique value prop. I said 4 episodes. Tell me our first 4 episodes.
Okay, let's do this.
1, coming to America. 2,
you want them to go out with bangers, don't you?
I think you. Well, I don't know if you do. So there's 2 trains of thought. One is if you've already got a brand and a reputation, you can come out with 4 bangers and make it. Whereas if you don't, i.e. us,
what?
You have to build on it. You have to. It is about consistency, getting it out the same time every week. For
I'm here for your brand and your
I
reputation.
think we need to do 8 weeks. I think it needs to be 8 episodes.
You want to up it? Okay.
I don't think 4 is enough. I think we can get to 4 by the end. I think we can get to 4 before our jobs kick in properly again.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
What was
I
that? Was
belched away from my
you're a
chocolate
professional.
rain.
You're already a professional.
Do you know that video?
What is chocolate
Rain?
rain? I was joking.
You wouldn't in
I wouldn't
early
understand.
2000s YouTube. You wouldn't
because
remember.
you're 4 months younger. Is that what it is? I'm a different
I'm a
generation.
millennial.
Yeah.
You're not a millennial, are you?
What? Sure I am.
1981. When were you born?
Yeah, 81. We're in the same. We're not years apart. We've been through this.
It's a
Remember,
generational
I get the one
thing,
wheel,
isn't it?
you get the one wheel. I don't fall off it. You fall off it. That's how it works.
It's a generational difference. We should bring that into the conversation.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't hear enough about, like, the problem is that people in our age bracket are serious.
Yeah.
They're serious. So you either get the comedians who don't have a job other than comedians,
Yeah.
or you get the professionals in our age bracket who are building the career profile seriously.
Yeah.
You don't get the light relief
Yeah.
on people who have made it here.
Yeah.
And I think there's value to be had there.
No, I think you're right.
I think it's like just make everyone feel a bit more comfortable, like a release.
There's-
And you put it on going, yeah, I'm listening to tech, but actually I just want to hear their voices because it's a release when I'm working from home. And
it's easy. At the end of it, I'm not sure what I learned, but I don't feel bad because it was about something to do with tech.
It was related. I feel
It's
like
not
the title,
TikTok. It's long form.
it's podcast.
something.
I feel intellectual.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Our voices sound more intelligent,
Yeah.
at least mine.
Yeah. And there's a counter. You always need the yin and the yang. You need the complete fucking moron.
The muse. Yeah.
We'd have to get
Kusha.
someone in for that.
Kusha, mate. You're not only the editor, you're the punching bag.
Here, touching on something you said.
Why would that go?
Do we talk about, you mentioned AutoCAD. Do we talk about Stripe and Autodesk, or do we allude to it? And people can look us up if they want to. I feel like there's a little bit of dangerous territory there, mentioning the companies by name.
Why?
Because then you are representing them as a brand. And I don't think, we're not, I feel like that there would have to be some sort of approval or I don't know. I mean, you are the head of product at that company or whatever. You're the...
I'm the co-CEO. The would have been founder if I was there at the right time.
Kokio.
Yeah. Look, it's no different to thoughts and comments represent myself and not my company. By the way, I work at these things, all of these things.
Yeah.
I don't see how it's any different to that.
Okay.
People on media represent themselves and they will mention something. It's up to us to whether we mention it or not. It's obviously going to be... We're not using pseudonyms, right? It's clearly going to be easily look up what we are.
Yeah.
As soon as Twitter handles...
I feel there's a difference there, though. If someone looks you up, if you're like, I work in product at a fintech company or at like a major fintech company and I work in product at a design company, I think...
We could keep it a little bit distanced by going, look, the company I'm at,
Yeah.
here's the experience I've had.
Yeah.
And obviously we have to be very judicious in what we're sharing, right?
Yeah.
But like you could add a distance there by not referring to at Stripe every time you mention it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But people to draw the bow and go, company I'm at to whatever. So when we're IPOing, I'm like, hey, look, it's IPO week.
Yeah.
Very, very excited.
Yeah.
Who knows? 50% up, 50% down. Let's talk about IPOs, the last 10 IPOs of whatever.
Sweet.
How's fintech? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Love that.
Like I feel like it would be a miss
if
we don't have the context of where we are.
Yeah.
Because
especially with guests in too, though, right? That you're like, oh, you're going to represent your company now, but don't fucking say what company we work for.
You can't. It's impossible.
Okay, I think you're right.
I think it's positive for the
Yeah.
company if we do well.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to have to be judicious, as you do anywhere when you say things. It can't be bad, right? Like we can't give away IP. It's up to us to be clever and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the bio on
Talk into
Twitter
the
that
microphone.
says it's just the bio on Twitter says thoughts and comments represent myself and no one else. Like
Okay.
that's the
Okay.
I think
Great. That camera's out, so we're not even recording anymore.
you're not recording yourself.
I think this.
I'm fine.
Oh, no,
This is going to be a solo podcast. You're going to be the voice in my
I'm
ear.
on this one.
That's fine.
Is that still on?
Movie recording has been stopped automatically. The recording time has been reached. So let me get this straight.
So these two are on 4K. This one 720p.
Ah.
Because we only said, we'll do when I said what will I set it to? You said
What did I say?
you said, we'll just do a couple of intro things, whatever. We'll keep
No,
going.
that was
This
my-
could be an audio podcast to start.
Which more traditional podcast format?
I don't have to make any funny faces anymore.
What do they call it when you put video with the podcast? Wait, you were making funny faces?
Vodcast.
Do they?
No,
No one calls it a podcast.
I think it's just podcast.
just with a YouTube
I think
channel.
it has to have video these days, though.
Does it?
It'd be so much easier if it didn't.
I'm just thinking.
I think part of our sell might be our physical appearance, though, as well. I'm serious. I mean, that we're completely not. I mean,
That we're not. Let's go for that. Finish. I want you to finish that sentence.
that we're not 20-somethings with gorgeous bods.
We're relatable.
Dad bods.
We're relatable.
Yeah.
We should lean into it. How many pounds did you put on this Christmas?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been working on it for ages. I'm at 220. I don't even know how many this Christmas. Like, as in, I don't measure it in those.
You're in the long game.
I'm doing
You're in the long game.
quarterly OKRs here.
So
Yeah.
on our Twitter account, you can see the picture of me and my yo-yo. It's like Everest.
Yeah.
I kind of went through this trough of uncertainty where I lost pounds, and I
For
thought,
ages, though.
yeah, no, it was a birthday earlier in the year, mid-year, etc. But now I am like soaring.
But you need the 5-year view.
Yeah, I
There's
need
a
to zoom
sine
out.
wave.
I just zoom out. But right now, I am the Omicron of weight gain. It is just a wall, a
Have you
vertical.
hit your all-time high yet?
It's a good question. I think I've hit my high of since we started measuring.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
since records
like
were taken.
5 years. You mean like since? Yeah.
Yeah, since scales had Wi-Fi.
When were you bigger than that?
I mean, probably not.
College, uni?
Nah. There's no way. I think the worst was B school. At some point, mine's gone. At some point, like B school got to like 234
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
and then and I think this is definitely the worst.
Bummer.
It's-
Me too. I'm the heaviest I've ever been, but like
It's natural.
you were an inspiration there. So honestly, for
like
what?
a week. Yeah.
No, I mean I was always like, Rami can do it. Anyone can do it. No, I mean no. Yeah, we have to get fit. We have to get. We've got
100%.
bad backs,
Maybe that's what this is about.
gallbladders out.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You don't have a gallbladder anymore. Your entire left side of the limbic system is gone.
that's right.
So, like, this lifestyle stuff's real.
Yeah,
At the very least, peppering it in.
yeah. No. I agree. I mean, we can fill hour-long episodes. I mean, we've been talking for 40 minutes now.
Done.
So like,
Kushal's going to turn this into a 60-minute
it's
podcast.
Kushal. You heard me, Kushal. I've said it 5 times now. I don't know why he keeps saying that.
Because Kushal, it's just something to play with, isn't it? It's fun.
Yeah.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
A Kushal.
Yeah.
Kushal.
Yeah.
Kusha. You could play with it for it.
Yeah.
I think it's great to have a third person in the room.
Yeah.
It's the silent majority.
I do think we should mention him,
All the time.
but I don't know if we should talk about that. We have to talk about costs. He's going to do there's a lot of work to sync cameras and audio and then cut the bits in
grunt
between.
work. Yeah.
He's going to do that. And you have to pay for that with me. We have to talk about that next.
Whoa. I haven't got clearance. I haven't got budget
That's
clearance.
what I'm saying. Well, it's in here.
It's
You
in
did
what?
actually sign off on it.
Did you? Wait. There was no...
How much are we willing to put into this?
Yeah. It's blood, sweat and tears.
I said 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
That's hardcore.
That was back when back
pumped.
when we
You were
first got
pumped.
excited about it.
That's when you could stand up with
How
your back
many
open.
hours a week are we going to do on it?
With research or without research?
So it's going to be work for me editing anyway. Because like the reality is to train Kushal up and get it to the point where we're happy to just record an episode and upload it.
Yeah.
It's probably 3 hours or 4 hours of editing for me a week anyway.
That's too much, dude. How do we reduce it?
Paying someone to do it, but the cost goes up exponentially. So Kushal's going to do, right now he's doing it for 4 weeks, he's doing $100 an episode to cut it to the point where he thinks it could go up, and I'll work with him on it, blah, blah, blah. It'll take 2 or 3, and then if he's good at it and it gets to the point where we can just
Throw it
upload it,
over.
it's $150 a week. $150 an episode.
That's not bad. That's great.
That's about
like $75 each.
That's about
It's a coffee and a half.
yeah, don't be saying Kushal's going to edit this now and I'm after negotiating hard with him. So like
Oh, sorry. That is steep.
so I'm editing this entire episode.
That is way too steep. That
Yeah.
is highway robbery.
That if I said that if it works out, we'll do 52 episodes with him. If it works out,
This
do you
is
think
some
this
of
could be an
some of
episode?
my best work.
Genuinely, do you think this is an episode?
Have you heard the murders in the building one? Stay with me. So I was talking to a friend of
Answer
mine.
a question with a question.
I was talking to a
Good
friend of mine.
diversion there.
I was
Yeah.
talking to a friend of mine.
I was not expecting that.
And I said, "Oh, by the way,
My favorite murder. Do you mean the like most popular podcast?
No.
Second
That
to
one,
Joe Rogan.
That one is no. This is different. This is murders in the building or murders. It's a podcast about making podcasts.
Yeah, Do you want to make a podcast about making podcasts?
I'm just saying there's a space.
We could, but there's so many. There's a. I typed in. It sucks for them, but there's a podcast called. It's fucking terrible. The first episode is awful. Like, you'd never get beyond the first episode.
Was Kushal involved?
That's how I got him. That's how I got him. Kushal. He's never. We have to get a new editor now. It took me ages to get him as well. I went through 4 editors to get him. Like, literally used them used them, paid them to edit episodes for me till I got to Kushal.
What, like trials?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did this.
I worked on this thing. I put a Google Doc together with questions on it.
I should have known
while you were in Hawaii.
Wait a minute. I responded to the Google Doc with questions of my own.
Nice. It looks great. Here's a question I could ask. How many times did I ask you what's our name?
Yeah, but that was a prompt.
That was Bance.
That was a prompt for us to consider the broader question of the document.
All I'm saying is,
what do you mean?
We've got Kushal and we're lucky.
I responsible? Kushal, I would not be. We would not be here without you.
Here's where we're at.
Okay, $75 a week.
Are you going to drive up here and do this?
It's going to be hard to do.
You're not going to do it. You're not for 8 weeks. Can you imagine?
No.
Stripe has got something to do. Baby, whatever. Baby's sick and stuff. We're just not going to do an episode, right? It's just not going to happen. Or we'll do it the next day or something. Realistically, this is not in person.
Probably. I mean, if we wanted to reduce the cost, maximize the outcome,
yeah,
you wouldn't do it in person.
It should. Do you think we need video?
If it's not a substantial overhead.
I don't think it's a substantial overhead.
If it's incremental. If it's like 10-15%.
Do we just do it with Zoom to start?
And see if there's something
Get the audio right. I think this is a winner. It feels more professional.
Beautiful. I need a headset. Should I work on my voice? Should I have voice acting coaches first?
I was going to say at the very end, if you could work on your voice, because your voice is shit.
I like how you left that at the end.
I was going to wait till the end because I don't want to ruin the episode. No, I mean, this is all gold.
That's a punchline. That would be a spoiler. What are you watching at the moment? What are you streaming? Because you have a lot of time on your hand.
I've been in bed for 10 days, so I'm watching a lot of YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's on YouTube now?
Everything.
Like YouTube natives, or are you watching people like reconstructing motorbikes in their garage?
The reason I like YouTube, the whole creator economy thing and stuff, it's actually as close to product. Don't do that.
Is it not good for the audio?
Really loud. Oh. Poor Kushal. It's about as close to being a PM as you can get. So the analytics on YouTube.
Yeah, you love the analytics, don't you?
I do love it though. It's just because it's addictive. It's not even addictive.
It's deterministic.
It's more instant insight into this build, measure, learn cycle. And when I did this thing, there was a drop. When I did this thing, there was an increase. Like you can see it.
Of course, because you're doing it for 400,000
and video on video, and you can see the exponential curve. There's none of that. You just have live data all the time. I just think it's a fantastic product.
It's very real. The problem I have with it is it assumes so. As you know, I was working in content creation the whole time, 6 years at Google. I was creative. By the end, I was doing monetization, and there's products still rolling out. And I eventually got to Stripe because I was doing creative economy, and I'm like, ads is the last. It's all about payments, right? So I'm there, and issues with subs, and the news industry requiring subscriptions, and people don't pay, and therefore you end up getting all that sort of. And I'm still there, and I still my thesis to Patrick,
co-CEO of Stripe. He grew up 20
down the road
minutes
from
from
you.
me.
Who's your friend? Who's your pal?
Mate of mine.
Your friend Patrick
Him and
Collison.
John. Did the leave and cert together. I came second.
You guys. Did you start Stripe?
It was an option.
It was. You chose this. This is what you chose, YouTube creator. I was like, look, I still believe that the trend here is every individual is going to be their own media empire. Quite literally, everyone's going to be their own media company, audience first, product second, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
The problem is we don't have infinite attention. Attention's fun. So just like with YouTube, just like with any of the networks, you bootstrap off a finite number of scarce resources, supply demand. It's skewed one way, and then it plateaus out at some point as they mature. YouTube, like others, mature. So there is an attention.
Yeah, there's
problem
10 more
here.
years in it. 10 more years in YouTube.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Why 10 more years?
Because of the amount of ad revenue they're able to generate right now. TikTok is not.
You're saying compared to TikTok, or you're just saying as a video industry?
As a video industry.
UGC creation, there's 10 more years.
10 more years specifically for YouTube as a long-form creation
compared
platform.
to the others. Got it. But YouTube also has its shorts, and we've been trying to get into whatever. Like, we can go through that whole...
You haven't worked there for a while now.
I
Come
worked
on.
in shorts. I worked with a team of shorts.
Did you?
Yeah, heaps.
So shorts is great. And I think what happens
it's
is...
the hook.
It is. It doesn't drive dollars to the creators.
No, it's not meant to. It's meant to be the American Idol of the platform, which is the roll the dice roulette, and you may get seen by way more. So it's the mini TikTok inside, which gets you exposure to random people outside.
It's you get subs up, but you don't get ad revenue.
It's the fishing, get them in.
But you need long form content. You need 8-minute videos, which is where you get your money.
So basically, depending on the format, is how you monetize. YouTube has to do 14 minutes because they do inline, like ad roll, mid roll, or pre roll, or whatever it is. But everyone else has to do sponsorship deals, tips, and every other monetization model. There's only a handful of them, right? So the short form.
There's a lot of them. No, that's the difference. So the thing I didn't understand was how low your view count and how few subscribers you can have to actually make YouTube a full-time career. And I don't mean to be comparable with the Silicon Valley salaries, but I mean to earn $150K a year,
living in Mexico City or something. Yeah,
you can have 10,000 subs.
Yeah, well, 10,000 minimum you need to get monetized, right?
1,000 subs gets you monetized with 4,000 watch hours.
Right.
So
hours.
my Moto channel is nearly monetized, and I've got 12 videos up. So I'll be making $1 a day on those in a while. But if you're if you put in, if you do 50 videos a year, that's on average 52 videos, you'll get somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 subs, and it's the exponential curve. You can literally. I didn't realize. I mean, there's always the Mr. Beasts and the MB Marcus Brownlee and the top of their game people there.
MBK,
obviously, they're making millions a year, and I'm like, okay,
but they're production studios.
But if you've 10,000 subscribers, you can make 5K, 4K a month, 5K a month,
and it's compounding over time. That you're building the same stuff keeps getting shown.
And you do brand deals,
if it's evergreen. It's great. Yeah,
sponsorships
key.
And like nano, what do they call them? Like nano influencers. Like that's what if you've less than 10,000 subs,
micro.
Well, no, it's smaller than that micro. Micro, there's nano influencers, which is you're in a very specific niche, and sponsors are willing. There's a market for it. So like it's sustainable for 10 years.
Just do Tesla reviews. Just like blogging, the ones that make the money are the ones who are selling tutorials, education, content.
You need multiple streams of revenue. You want to even merch.
Ebooks.
It's so easy to do it all now.
Yeah. Courses, I think, is the big one.
Yeah.
Like
we should do a course.
Right.
We should. You and I should do a course.
Why don't we do a course?
If you put a course up on Skillshare,
right,
Evergreen,
right,
there's so much product. Like, have you seen
like an entertaining course on product?
Yeah, there's so much how to pass a PM interview. Like I keep going back to, there's not a holistic approach to why product, why put customers first, why OKRs are a good idea. You're skeptical.
No. I'm wondering whether you turn it into a package. Because it's all about the multi-channel setup, and if you kind of use the fishing line of content, lightweight content here. Like if we start thinking multi-channel from the start, and you think actually the podcast is a ruse, that's just the personality that gets you to buy into, discover the course.
Yeah,
because we're talking about product, but we're actually just being funny about product.
Yeah,
the real product chat is over here. Pay for that.
Yeah,
and
that's what you do.
We do that out of the gate.
Out of the gate, though, is ambitious.
Is it?
It's a little bit. So the tricky thing about building an audience is trust, and I think that we need to get people to trust us, especially if our whole thing is that we're a little bit more lightweight about a serious thing.
Yeah.
I think we need that trust.
And if
you're trying to sell something at the very beginning,
yeah.
If someone is trying to tell you about something somewhere else from the very beginning,
I hear. So maybe you're not. Well, two schools of thought. One is. Like, I'm not talking about selling it, but I'm just thinking our strategy is that, and we have it ready to go, ... right? And we're thinking strategically. We have the course, we know, and we're dropping hints in and not selling, but just like seeding.
Yeah.
On the flip side, having it there gets you like gravitas, could get you gravitas out of the gate. So you just go, here are the cred, here's a thing that's sitting there, here's us chatting, it's real.
Yeah.
We're here to talk just for you, get to know us.
Yeah.
Jump on this thing if you want, but otherwise this stuff's free. Podcast is just us talking and we'll give tips. It's almost like Twitter and then super follows, right? If you want the good stuff, it's over here.
I think it's hard to get right. I think you're right.
It's a shitload of work.
I think you gotta have 12 episodes for free up front without any mention of any of that. I think it's
right.
You gotta give a lot before you can ask anything. You got it. It just doesn't work like that.
What if you did it so it wasn't overt? Because you're worried about the trust, right?
Yeah.
What if what you did was have targeted ads
Yeah.
for people listening to you for your match?
Advertise on our own.
Like Blue Apron. It would be called Blue Marcus. I think it's about trust, as you say.
Yeah.
And the best way for us to build trust with our audience is to bear it all.
Yeah.
You know?
I like where this is going. I think
multi-prong.
So here's where I'm at. We're busy.
You mean we
It's
have
easy.
families
You've been in
and
Hawaii. Well, you've been in Hawaii for a few weeks. Jokes aside, you've been in Hawaii for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I've had a few, it's been easy. I've not been doing all the childcare because I hurt my back. And then work's starting next Monday again.
I feel like you did
We
it
got to
on
run
purpose.
big products. And it's
Did
just...
do that on purpose. Was the back thing on purpose? Just to have a bit of a break?
Yeah, it's fine.
You actually,
fine.
back's totally normal.
I've never had a bad back, actually. Even the surgery was just for time off.
The long
In
ruse.
the long game, yeah. Boom.
Can you whistle into these mics? I whistle a lot. Just to exclaim.
Audience will love that.
Do you think?
Yeah.
It's piercing. All the dogs in the neighborhood just... Should we play VR while we're doing this?
No.
By the way, we're a year and a half ahead of the kids. This Christmas, every kid has one.
Yeah, because
Meta.
Facebook, unfortunately.
Meta.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't
But
it?
we're
Bit of
always
rebrand.
ahead. No, but we're all...
I'm not sure
I
we're
do
super
think
ahead.
we are ahead still. I do. I think that's our niche that we're saying. We're 1981 kids grew up without tech, but we've been on the pulse, and by virtue of what we do, we're still on the pulse.
Would you classify yourself as an early adopter?
Yes. Look at me. I mean, everything. Yes.
You were the first one to get a camera?
Particularly in hardware.
Yeah.
Same as you. Well, no, I think different to you.
I'm not an
I'm
early
always
adopter.
up to speed on hardware.
I'm up to speed of what's happening. I'm not an early adopter. I'm very rarely an early adopter. Notoriously laggard, given where I am at. Notoriously so. Don't like the first versions. Wait for someone else to do it. Umming and ahhing. I'm in that second part of the curve. Whatever it is.
I think that's okay.
Maybe. It's just it's not paradoxical. Maybe it's paradoxical. I don't know. I'm comfortable with it. I'm clearly have not needed to be early adopter, but I'm not. Wasn't schlepping NFTs in Jan.
No, but
all
you were
been.
interested in it and
Oh,
knew
yeah.
about it.
Should have been on that bloody Bored Apes, man. The Cyberpunk. Did
Did you see one sold yesterday for this is how many he was listing. He listed it quickly by accident for 0.75 Ethereum, which puts it at $2,800, and it was worth $280,000.
Well, the floor,
Two decimal points out. It should have been 75 Ethereum.
Well, the floor price has beaten CryptoPunks now. CryptoPunks was the highest floor price across the board now as a collection. And the CryptoPunks were two dudes in Creative Labs in Google.
Yeah.
Who just rolled the effing thing, and it was, I don't know. Are you following the Jack Dorsey takedown of Web3?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's good.
Fantastic.
It's so good. Can we say fuck?
On
Is
Twitter.
that acceptable?
Yeah, we can
On
curse.
Twitter. Yeah. Jack Dorsey,
Yeah.
founder of Twitter,
Yeah.
CEO of Twitter,
Tell us about it.
leaves it,
Yeah.
starts shitting on everyone.
Blocked. Changes company name. It's not called Square anymore. It's called Block.
At a third dimension. By the way, the tools, the site, they must have done that. The agency must have known that the profile photo meme would happen.
Yeah.
They've gone, let's
I
go
haven't
after
seen the
something.
meme.
You must have. The profile photos.
Yeah.
The profile photos of the block executives.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
You had one, did you?
Well,
Someone
that's
had
what
one.
happened. As soon as
Yeah.
that happened, it became a meme, and then people created generators, and I sent you
No,
guys
I've
a
seen
generator.
that.
Yeah,
I've seen
genius.
that. Yeah,
So he goes, right, this has been a fun ride. I'm stepping out from Twitter, so I'm not going to be a target for the for everything regulation that's happening. I've got some stuff to do. Second he steps down, he just unleashes.
Yeah.
He becomes wild Jack Dorsey on Twitter, shooting down VCs.
Do you think he's having a midlife crisis?
No, he's having a freedom bout. He's just loving it. It's brilliant. And by the way, gets backup from Elon Musk. He gets on there
Yeah.
and he goes, I'm with you, Jack.
Yeah, but Elon's also
Loose cannon.
a cyberpunk.
That's fucking
The
awesome.
two of them are straight out of Mad Max.
But now you're going to see a whole thing of this Web3 that was a rebranding of a collection of essentially Crypto Plus
Yeah.
is about to get a sour brand because very influential people have come along and they're going to get a whole bandwagon around. Yeah, Web3 is just VCs and it's just centralized all over again. You're about to get a...
So why don't we go through what Web 1, 2, and 3 is? Why don't I do the do the boomer one?
Bugger if I know one, Web 1, do what they're going. Yeah, please.
Web 1 was about
It was BBS's, wasn't it?
Web 1 was about the best way I heard it described was Web 1 was about consuming content. If you wanted to go on the New York Times, you went on to www.newyorktimes.com and you consumed the content from there. And it was companies putting content online.
You had to know where to go. You had to know where to go.
It was
on MySpace.
And it was established companies creating content online.
Yeah.
And it was sandboxed.
Yeah.
Web 2.0 then was like the blogging era, the creator era, where a few select companies like Facebook, Google, etc. created broader sandbox for people to be able to create their own websites. So instead of you consuming a New York Times, you're consuming a Rami blog. And that's Web 2.0. And people felt like, this is us taking the web. This is us. It was owned by businesses and we were just consumers. Now we're creators. We can create our own space on the internet. But because by virtue of the fact of, and this is probably controversial for you, but the fact that Google indexed the web. So if it's not indexed on Google search, you can't find it.
Yeah.
Web 3 is about decentralizing the web and like breaking down those walls. And there's a lot of bullshit about it. And it's going to end in a 1999.com bust. 100%. But something will make it.
That's right.
And it's probably blockchain and one of the cryptos and things like that. But anyway, sorry, going back, I just wanted to...
Yeah. That was excellent for our audience there. Kushal, can you just underline that? Maybe just put a little bit of
Web 3. So now back to Doxy.
So my current mental model of Web 3 is it's a rebrand of a cluster of things that were in flight. And the rebrand's having a great effect. It's having a great effect because it's now juxtaposed the Web 2 like slackies, and you have the JavaScript peddlers taking on the Web 3 peddlers, and it's just a whole bunch of peddlers taking on one another. And it's essentially a bundling and a rebrand of cryptos, NFTs, DOAs, and some DeFi stuff.
And do we think those are separate? Do we think they're different?
They're different enough to require an umbrella brand is essentially what happened here, because they're not all currency. It's not all organization.
They kind of are though. So
it's blockchain. It's all blockchain. Yeah, if you're going to go back to it,
100%
all crypto blockchain. Yeah.
So we had these people who put money into Ethereum.
Yeah.
And Ethereum ETH blew up.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's like $4,000 when I bought it. It was like
$3,800. It's cool.
Whatever.
$3,700.
$4,000 per coin now for Ethereum.
Yeah, for ETH.
And you've got all these people who are Ethereum millionaires.
Yeah.
And another way for them to flip that money is to convert it from an Ethereum coin into a cyberpunk
or something. Oh yeah.
Right?
NFT,
no, but buying an NFT is another way to exit. So if you've already done 100x on Ethereum, and then you've an option to buy a Bored Ape and do a 1000x on that. Yeah. You know, it's not
exit yet. It's ratchet. Yeah. Because you still need to exit via the ETH to get back to currency.
I think
that's ratchet.
No,
they've managed to layer like a whole nother level of value on something that didn't have value through NFTs. Because to your point, you bought 1 ETH back at $1.
Yeah.
Or you bought 100 ETH, whatever it is. You now have $4 million.
Yeah.
And you're equivalent in ETH, and now you buy the same in NFTs that 10x's it again, and all of a sudden you've gotten 2 layers of value add that are all ephemeral community-based value. It is the essence of like imbued value, because it's the interests are for anyone who becomes an owner to evangelize the heck out of it, because the more people get involved, the higher the stake.
So tell me about the advantage of becoming an owner in a Bored Ape. Why might someone buy a Bored Ape beyond the fact that it's good? The
financial incentive is the baseline.
Is it though?
The financial incentive is the original baseline, because
it's the reason to get in. So what I was kind of getting at was like these like VC communities or online chats or something that you can only get in if you're a
membership. It's membership.
It's a membership to a club.
They've done more, haven't they? Now they've like Bored Apes was probably one of the best ones that started the community exclusive membership rights. They're like Soho Club of NFTs, where we now have actual real life parties. We have computer games where you can have access to them. Mm-hmm. You can certainly get into Discord. We're going to do airdrops where now you get additional NFTs that are based on your character that do ... We're about to do movies and TV shows that you're going to see your apes in there, and you'll get rights and chunks of money into it.
Huh.
It's a total and they're releasing these things like the most. So that's my meta kind of observation on this is the rise of the designer. This is the rise of the creative. This is their moment. This is the renaissance.
That's Gary Vaynerchuk is big on that.
This is
the CDO, the Chief Design Officer.
The creatives' absolute wet dream. This is the heyday for anyone who can push a pixel. Unfortunately, the people who are shining are the people who are pushing like computer game CGA graphic aesthetic, but like that'll change and it'll evolve, etc. Like, you know, it's
I don't know.
zombies and skeletons and pixelation because it's
I
the
don't
aesthetic.
think so.
It's us with money and opportunity to do whatever we wanted because it's our aesthetic. It is not this Gen Z aesthetic. It is not the boomer aesthetic. It's us.
No, I get that.
It's the same. The same people who thought Marvel is the genius idea because everyone loves it because it's us. It's our generation.
Yeah.
Who used to do Spider-Man. We grew up on it.
Yeah.
And we want to see 35,000 versions of
Yeah.
It's the same producer. but like if it was like the developer at one point in time and they went to no code, it was always going to be like, how do you get more and more democratized?
Yeah.
And like I've been seeing this for like the last 5-10 years to the point where I did like multiple design courses where ultimately like the value here is going to be in the most creative stuff because everything else gets automated and kind of, you know, replicated and so on. This is such like a quintessential moment because the people who are busting out CryptoPunks are in Creative Lab, they were designers and they just had like the algorithmic part of this, the generative art part of it is literally like 8 Photoshop layers and then randomizing the combinations. Right. It is not generative art.
Yeah.
It is like the most. They've settled on a local minima that is so not
easily reproducible.
Like AI is doing generative art. Like generative art's been happening for decades. That genuinely like fascinating algorithms like generation. This is not. This is like original pixel computer game. You know, 64K of RAM kind of generative art because there's 8 layers and I'm just going to generate 10,000 variants of those 8 layers.
But I agree with that. I agree that the art that we find aesthetically pleasing now in this crypto space, NFTs specifically, are targeted at the people who have money, who is our generation. But I also believe that one of the things you said that it was like it's the gaming generation and things like that, they won't win. But when we talk about platforms, when we talk about Meta, when we talk about Facebook being the platform that owns the metaverse, it's probably not going to be Meta, is it? Do you think it's going to be like I wholeheartedly believe that that it will probably be someone like Unity or you know a graphics card like
it's a gaming company for sure. It's a gaming platform for sure.
Is it a gaming platform or is it a graphics platform?
I don't know. I'm not sure I know the difference. I was talking to someone this morning about where the intersection of like someone's asking for direction. What are the next big trends? What are the secular shifts? Like what's happening in genetics and what's happening in biology between Web3, so-called Web3, and AR VR, with Apple dropping their glasses later on, with Meta doing what they're doing, and then you've got Web3 happening here. Where is that intersection? Mm-hmm. Where does that come together? Because you now have two very big, like huge areas of investment and momentum and dynamics and intelligence and people and the whole thing, and they're pushing in not the same direction. And I'm not sure they're opposed. They're just completely devoid universes. It's not clear to me blockchain is the thing that's getting AR and VR going, and none of the developers in AR VR who used to be ostracized as like VR AR, they're now mainstreamed, and it's Web3 developers who are kind of, you know, the cutting edge. Where do they come together?
You think VR and Web3 are that's interesting because I hadn't different. So the VR people, AR VR people in my company who are on the periphery are it's definitely legitimized now. For sure. It's like there's money there. That's why it's well, you're about to get the hardware. You're about to get the consumer hardware. It's about to go mainstream. Like we talk about Quest 2, and if you look at the last 3 years, the searches on Quest, like, you know, Benedict Evans will show you that it's getting there, but it's not quite mainstreamed. And everyone's like, it's mainstream, it's there. Apple dropping an AR glass that does or doesn't have VR either way, AR itself is going to be mainstream. It'll be part of the Apple ecosystem. It won't be part of the metaverse, though, right? They're not. They're too locked into their own.
What's the metaverse?
The metaverse is Zoom. That's what the first step is. Zoom, 3D Zoom.
Is it Second Life?
It's second. It could be. It's work. It's work. It's don't leave your house. It's this. It's that terminal I have there. Where you joke sitting there at that computer with a headset on. That's what it is.
Have you? So that's like 1.0 metaverse. Yeah. We're already there. Have you done?
We're not though. We're not there. That's the easy next step. We're not there. No one's doing it.
What do you mean no one's doing it?
You have an Oculus. What do you use it for?
Sorry, you're assuming it's in VR, but like the Zoom without the Oculus is
I'm saying Zoom 2.0 is in the metaverse.
3D VR with eye contact.
3D VR and that your hardware.
Have you done meetings in Quest?
No.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Clearly, the biggest problem is not knowing where the eye contact.
Yeah.
And they know it, and there's eye contact. There's all the IP is going in eye tracking.
Yeah.
And reflecting that in there, and if you listen to any of them, Carmack and Zach himself, they'll all say that's the next stuff. Latency, eye tracking, resolution, etc. Field of view. But even what's on there today, Workspace, Horizon. We should do one. We should do one where we sit down and have a conversation. We should do this podcast with the goggles on, because it is frighteningly great.
So you were telling me about Workspace. I had a look at it, but it looks faffy. Can I connect?
Workspace is the one where it's just like your
there's a
desktop
monitor
and stuff.
Yeah.
No, the one where you've got the avatar sitting next to it. In the same way that you were dry humping the ping pong.
May or may not have been dry humping the ping pong.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Take that to the next level where there's more of the avatar, and you're now doing work, you're showing presentations, you're pointing at it, and the whole thing. It's
right.
Legit. So that's there, and we've done a couple of meetings, and a bunch of the YouTube folks I know who we do a fair bit of Quest in there. It's great. Just would you do it forever? And you taking a pause?
Meta. This conversation, would that make a good episode? It was very dry, and it was a lot of just educating each other. I feel like the first half of what we did, the first 40 minutes, was very different to that 20 minutes.
Completely different.
I enjoyed the first 40 minutes more, but there was a lot more value in the last 20 minutes.
Was it value?
I think there was. I think I was learning stuff from you, and we explained Web 123. There was a bit of Dorsey. There was, I think, for someone listening to it, I don't know. I mean, because it wasn't basic enough that we brought the audience with us. We were just riffing on each other. It's a conversation we have a lot. This kind of thing. We end up in these brief, intense little things like that frequently when we're on the phone about something. Right? Is it valuable or is it not? And do you need to go? And who's that?
Not go. Let me just grab that. It's the wife. Hello.